What is happening, everybody? MG here, MG Covers, bringing you a brand new sports handicapping video. Title of today's video, Sports Betting Preview for May the 7th, 2024 for Major League Baseball. Have a ton of stuff to cover in this video. If you're watching this video for the first time, greatly appreciate you subscribing to the channel. If you follow me on social media, MG Covers, covers spelled with a Z. Put out a lot of content on Instagram, so you get a lot of value simply by following me there. Also have something on Friday called Free Fridays. Give out all my lines for MLB and soccer. And during the regular season, so the fall, we'll give out all my lines for all the fall sports as well. All right, so a lot to cover in this video. First off, I've been incognito here for about almost 3 weeks now. Went overseas, was very sick the first week I was there, and then basically like cold flu type sick. Then the day that I left, I got a stomach virus. It got really bad. I thought I was getting better, but I was not. I was actually getting worse. And I'm talking about like my white blood cell count was extremely low. My body wasn't fighting the stomach infection virus or whatever. So I ended up having to go to the doctor, get a lot of IVs, medicine. So starting to feel better. So the lesson to be learned here, if you're a man or anybody watching this video, if you're sick, go get some medical attention, because obviously we're not doctors. And sometimes you might feel like you're getting better, but in reality, you're getting worse, which was the case for me. So anyway, starting to feel a lot better. I'm extremely weak, but I'm going to try to grind through this video. So I got a lot of concepts I want to talk about in this video. The first one, and again, bear with me, this video is going to be long, but I promise we'll get to the power rankings and show you my lines for MLB today and cover some other concepts. But this is very important, and it has to deal with what success looks like in sports betting and making sure that your goals are aligned with what success is in sports betting. All right, let me back up and tell a story. In the mid-90s, I was in RV sales, the big RVs rolling down the road. I sold those in the mid-90s. There was an expression, and some of you might remember this expression, or it might still be used today, those of you in the car business. It's called peeling people off of the ceiling, literally peeling people off the ceiling. What that means is we've had, especially with regards to people trading in their RV, or it could be their car, their value in their head was that their car was worth way more, or say their RV. Say, for example, they thought their RV was worth $13,000, but we were actually offering them $9,000. So we had to, quote, peel them off the ceiling. And what I always told people was, hey, you feel like it's worth $13,000. Who's giving you $13,000 for that? Because if it's worth $13,000, you should be able to sell it for $13,000. We're offering you $9,000 ACV, which is a car business terms, actual cash value. We're offering you $9,000 for it. That's the actual cash value, because that's what somebody's willing to pay you for it. So it took a while, but we had to peel people off the ceiling because they had unrealistic expectations of what their vehicle is worth. This is what I struggle with in this business. And part of the reason why I have to peel people off the ceiling with regards to sports betting, whether it's a new client or answering questions to somebody, a potential client, is that people come in with unrealistic expectations of what success looks like in sports betting. And I'll give you a couple of examples. Number one, I had a client the other day, I ran a back test, and it was 54%, which is very good. And his reply was, let's see if we can get it to 65%. Now, the reason he suggested that is that where he's gotten his education from is from other ignorant people in sports betting, people that fabricate numbers, people that fabricate win percentage. There's no successful sports bettor or successful sports handicapper that hits 65% long term. And realistically, probably you're looking at best probably 55% a sharp is going to hit. They might have a season where they get a little bit higher than that, but through the course of a season, that's just 65% is just not realistic. Even 60% is not even realistic. So again, peeling people off of the ceiling. Now, let me show you this tracker. This was the same concept that we worked last year that was very well. It had a lot more volume last year. This year, not as much volume, but it's still very, very successful. And I want to go through that with you. So if you look over here, it's very simple what we're doing. We're looking at the top 10 teams via the model and this was actually from yesterday. And if a team is plus 120 or worse, basically, meaning like they're either plus 120 or higher, I should say, and they're not playing another top 10 team, then it's a play. And you look down here, this has actually gone 15 and 16, so just under 15, just under 50%, but it's up 4.02 units. Again, this is a very successful model. So 15 to 16, and let me show you another way to look at this and how to calculate ROI. Let me pull up the screen. So we've had a total of 31 plays. Now, since they're all dogs, I can just add up the 31. So basically, ROI is your return on investment, what you're investing versus what you're getting back, your return on investment. And that's very important. So since we're playing all dogs, if you were playing some juice games that had, minus 120, 130, you'd have to add those in. But since we're playing all dogs here, it's very easy to calculate your ROI. So you take 4.02. Whoops. Let's do it right here. 4.02 divided by, 02 divided by 31, total number of games, and we get an ROI of 12%. All right, in sports handicapping, 13% ROI is extremely, extremely good. That's a really, really, really good ROI. So this is a very, very successful model, albeit at, say, 48% win percentage. Now, very interesting. I listened to a podcast last night. I may tweet about this as well. If you're not listening to the Circles Off podcast, it's a great podcast. There's majority of what's out there on social media with regards to sports betting education is the majority of it's garbage. This is not. It's very educational. I've learned a lot listening to this podcast. They had a guy that was in part of a betting syndicate, and I quote, they shoot for 5% ROI. Now, their ROI is lower because they play a ton of volume, and I think they were getting down like something like 20, 30 grand a day, true dollars. So they were playing like a lot of volume, so they could still turn a significant profit with only say like a 5% ROI. So when you look at this particular model here, year to date, even though I don't know if it'll have the success it had last year. I covered this in a previous video. This netted 47 units last year, 55%, which was phenomenal. I'm not sure what the ROI was for that long term, but probably well over 20%. But still, as is year to date, extremely, extremely successful, extremely, extremely profitable. Now, so we have that still works. Now, what I'm going to talk about next is something else that I'm trying to do with the model. And I want to talk about, let me see if I can pull this up. Okay. Some things that I've noticed with regards to Major League Baseball this year. Starting pitching, extremely, extremely overvalued to the point to where if your model if you factor in starting pitching, your value is going to run parallel to starting pitching. What I mean by that is you may, it's pretty obvious. There's not a whole lot of different ways to calculate starting pitching. I mean, you have ERA, you have WHIP, you have earned runs, you have a lot of different ways you can do it. However, if you look via however you're calculating that, you said, well, we have a starting pitching advantage. Unfortunately, that advantage is going to get washed out in the line simply because the books are going to factor in that starting pitching as well. So my take, and part of what I think I'm going to do moving forward, I don't even think I'm going to factor in starting pitching, because that way we can still retain some of that value. And I want to show you what I have in mind. So one concept that I'm looking at doing, if you remember some previous videos, I talked about the alto concept. Alto concept means the top teams via your model should win at a high percentage. And if that's true, the reverse should be true as well, which means the bottom teams should lose at a higher percentage than any other teams via your model. So basically with this concept, we're simply going to play against the bottom teams, not even factor in starting pitching. So I'm going to use yesterday as example. These were the teams that were in the bottom via the model: Chicago, Toronto, Arizona, Milwaukee, Cincinnati, Atlanta, Colorado. Same as with the top 10 concept. We don't want to play teams that are playing against each other. So if we have two bottom teams, we really don't have a quote edge. And then you say, what another question you might ask, how did you use bottom seven? I just found like bottom seven to work better. I did this with another sport a while back and had success with the seven. Seems like 10's a little bit of a reach. 10 sort of gets into that closer to the mean with, as far as like the stats that I'm using. So bottom seven seemed to work best. All right, so let's go to yesterday. We'll take a look at some of these. So you had Chicago Cubs there. Let me pull this up. You can see here Cubs were playing San Diego. San Diego was in our top 10. I'll show you that in just a second. So you can see here we get really, really, really good value playing against a bad team. And that's part of what I'm seeing with this. So if you have, a pitching advantage and you have a team that's in your top 10 power rankings or whatever, sometimes you end up having to lay, an amount I probably wouldn't feel comfortable laying, anything above minus 150, I generally don't play. So, but in this case, you get really good value playing against Chicago there, and nice little win for San Diego. You only had to lay, depending on the book. I think Bookmaker had it minus 104, opened at plus 105. All right, so let's go back to, so the other one we had was, let's take a look at Milwaukee. I've already kind of researched these. In Milwaukee, using the play against concept, KC, we only had to lay minus 133. So in both of those examples, you went 2-0 playing against, and again, not factoring in any starting pitching at all. And let's pull up the top 10. Now, this is the top 10 from yesterday. I'm not going to go through all these, but I think what I'm going to do moving forward is basically the same concept, meaning I'm going to look at playing those teams, but just basically as is, meaning I'm not going to factor in the pitching. If we have a team in the top 10, they're not playing another top 10 team, and we can get the line for, say, minus 150 or less, then that would be a play. And still going to look at doing the dog concept, playing the team plus 120 via the old model. Still going to incorporate that. Still going to track those as well. So what I'll do next, let's dive in and take a look at today's lines, and we'll kind of go through these. Okay, and so what I did for clients is I just broke this down so you can see the top 10 teams for today: Baltimore, Dodgers, Oakland, San Diego, Seattle, Yankees, Cubs, Texas, Philadelphia, Cleveland. Bottom 7, Tampa, Milwaukee, Toronto, San Fran, Cincinnati, Arizona, Atlanta. Okay, so let's go through, now that I have that, because I don't want to keep switching back and forth between these screens. All right, so let's go to today's lines. And if you're new here, this is bookmakersreview.com. Really good site. They have a lot of offshore books where you can actually follow line movement. They have Bovada Bookmaker, Heritage, also have Pinnacle as well. They show opening line, and you can actually look at line movement as well. Okay. All right, so the first one there, Texas and Oakland. So we have Texas and Oakland in our top 10. And this is a great point to make here. And this is a really good line by the books. You can see here they have Texas minus 116, Oakland plus 106. So in essence, this is basically a 50-50 game for the books. So there's no value for me in playing either side. So we have both those teams in the top 10. Let's look at the next one there, Detroit, Cleveland. Cleveland is in our top 10. So that is looking at Cleveland as a play, already getting just not really any line movement there. I thought we were, but not really. Can get Cleveland at minus 121. Next one, Philadelphia and Toronto. Again, we have Philadelphia in our top 10. So the potential play there would be Philadelphia over Toronto. And a good way of doing this, by playing the top 10 and bottom 7, you're getting a lot more volume. So you're sort of playing into, baseball. There's a lot of variance in baseball. So when you play a lot of volume, you sort of let the variance sort it out. So if you're playing really good teams and playing against the bad teams, Volume should sort itself out. Variance should sort itself out as opposed to cherry picking one or two games. All right, so back to so Philadelphia, LA and Pittsburgh, nothing there. Arizona and Cincinnati, both of those teams are in our bottom 7. And again, another good point to make about Major League Baseball, it does feel like the lines are a lot sharper. That previous model I showed you, we had a lot more volume. It just seems like there's a lot more people in the sports betting place that have, quote, I guess I hate using the word figured it out, but lines just look a lot sharper. This is another really good line by the books. Neither team's really favored. It's a really good line by the books there. So since both those teams are in the bottom 7, there's no real value there. All right, next one there, Baltimore. We have Baltimore as one of the best. We have Baltimore's best team in Major League Baseball right now. And look at the line. There's no value there, minus 210. White Sox and Tampa. Okay, we have Tampa in the bottom 7, but the White Sox are not. So a potential play for the White Sox there at plus 217. Decent hitting team, White Sox, but struggled in the bullpen and starting pitching, but definitely a potential play for the White Sox. All right, moving along. Houston and the Yankees. We have Yankees in our top 10, and so that would be a potential play there for the Yankees. Boston, Atlanta really struggling with the bats here lately. Atlanta is in the bottom 7, so that would be a potential play there for Boston, getting some really good dog money there at plus 149. Back to San Diego and Chicago. However, it was a play last night. Today, Chicago is now in our top 10, so this would actually be a pass. All right, moving along, Seattle and Minnesota. We have Seattle in our top 10, so another really good dog play there at plus 127. Milwaukee and Kansas City. We have Milwaukee in our bottom 7, so again, another play on KC there. Mets and St. Louis, nothing for that one. San Francisco and Colorado. We have San Francisco in our bottom 7, so a potential play there for Colorado at plus 135. And then finally, Miami and Dodgers. Dodgers, a really good hitting team, and it seems like year in, year out, Dodgers are always very overvalued. So not much you can do there with a minus 300 line. Could play it on the run line, but then I definitely don't like playing home teams on the run line because they're not guaranteed 9 at bats. So anyway, so some concepts to take away from that. Make sure that if you're new to watching my channel, it's a really good channel to subscribe to. Make sure who you're following, who you're getting your education from, knows what they're doing, because it can really throw off your education. If you're wanting to get better and you're taking advice from somebody that doesn't know what they're doing, your education is going to be skewed, and you're going to have to be one of those individuals that we have to pull off the ceiling. And if you're not educated, you'll never make any money in this business. And one thing I've learned this year personally is you have to constantly try to learn more about this business and further your education, which is something that I sort of stopped doing. So I'm constantly every day working on models, constantly trying to seek out other handicappers and learn from them, so that I can continue to improve. And as more people get in this business and more people get educated, just like we're seeing with baseball this year, industry is going to get a lot harder and will be harder to profit in this thing long term, more so than it was, say, 5 years ago. So anyway, hope this video helped. If you want access to all my power rankings, you can get this, basically what it looks like, what you're seeing right here. You can get access to these every single day, $50 a month. You also get access to all of my coaching videos on the website. We have about over 150 coaching videos on the website. And if you want access to everything I just mentioned, in addition to all my plays, $100 a month. And if you join for an entire year, probably the best value. Instead of paying $100 a month, you can pay $500 one time. You get access to everything on the site for 1 year. There's a link to join in the description box. Like this video, subscribe to the channel. Good luck. Talk to you guys soon. Peace.